Hi, I'm Andrea Rotundo from Liquid Sense Bookkeeping. Let's talk about simplifying your bookkeeping for your business. The first thing that we are going to do is to make sure that you have a fence between you and your business when it comes to your finances. Create a boundary. And the best way and easiest way on you to do this is to use separate bank accounts. Now, I know that, for example, some of you might be sole proprietor, so you don't really have an LLC created, a business, and you can just use your personal account. Even if that is you, use a completely separate account exclusively for your business. This is going to help you simplify your bookkeeping, be able to look at your profit in an easier way, pay attention to your expenses in a much simpler way. So this also applies to your merchant processors. For example, PayPal is one of those that it's very easy to just mix those accounts, pay with one, and you don't really see it. So this is very, very important to keep your finances, your personal finances and your business finances completely separate. The next thing that we want to do is to use a system that will help you automate and support your processes. So think of it as when you are starting, you don't necessarily want to choose a system that is going to fit only that stage of your business and doesn't really have the flexibility or capabilities to grow with your business. And in the case of a service provider, some of you might want to sell, for example, courses in the future or things like that. All of those little things that you want to bring into the future are very important to consider when choosing your system. Another example is your industry. If you have a very specific industry, you might want to look at other business owners in the same field and look at the things that they are using, at the softwares that they are currently using and that work for them. And that might be a good place to start. But the most important thing, like I said, is to choose something that can grow with you. Because unfortunately, some softwares, at least in the beginning, when we want to have really low costs, we want to go for the free options. Some of these free options don't grow with you as you go. And down the line, when you try to kind of create that transition, you either lose your data or there's just not the option to grow. Now, another very common system that people use are spreadsheets or softwares like that, or even just a notebook. And what I want to tell you about this is although it's very easy, it's not overly complicated. It does take a lot of your time because you do have to go through each one of those transactions and you are recording those manually. And that just brings up the potential for you to make mistakes. So not only it takes more time, but it also increases your chances of creating mistakes in your record keeping. When you use a software that automatically pulls those transactions and you don't have to go back one by one, but you're just looking at the transactions that are already in your software, you are saving a lot of time and you are also decreasing the chances for mistakes. So that's a really big benefit for you to choose a software instead of just sticking to spreadsheets. The next and most important step, I think, is to have regular meetings with your money. And I do like the idea of looking at it with a microscope because in the day to day, you are most likely aware of what's coming in. You know if somebody owes you money and things like that. But we do, as business owners, need some time to just pause and look at our numbers in a more intentional way. We look at what we're paying. We look at how do these expenses align with my vision, with my goals, with my values? Am I bringing in the amount of money that I was expecting? Did I bring more? Did I bring less? Why is that? And all of those answers to your questions can be found in your records. So a lot of people like to talk about, like, do you know your numbers? What's your number? And things like that. And the truth is that keeping accurate records and up to date and frequent it's going to be the first step for you to look at those numbers and ask yourself those questions. And potentially, you can assess where you are differently and make changes for your business. You can use that data that you have with you to make business decisions. For example, is this a time to hire somebody? Is this a time to expand? Is this the time to slow down on expenses? So many questions that are very unique to you, to your stage, and to your goals cannot really be found by Googling them or by just asking in a general group with so many other business owners, because each one of our starting points are different, our goals are different, our life is different, and you do have all of those specifics and hard numbers with you if you keep those records up to date. So now let's talk about actual softwares. I work with Xero and with QuickBooks Online, or QBO as we call it. And I do recommend these for business owners. I think that they have the features that you need. For example, for service providers, you can send invoices through here and get paid through here. That way you don't have to have different platforms. You get paid through over here. And then you have all of this confusion as to somebody told you that they paid you, but you don't really know where their payment is. You don't know who owes you and things like that. So this just kind of like brings everything together in one place, makes it easier for your customer as well, for your client. You're making their experience better. And also that makes your chances of getting paid a lot faster and better. So for example, other features that I like is receipt management or storage for your receipts. You just take a picture of the receipt, you store it in there. That way you have everything just consolidated in one place instead of having a million folders everywhere or just pictures in your phone. Another feature that you can use is bill pay, or for example, like I was saying, the automation of things. There's just a lot of different features that you can play with that will make your record keeping a lot simpler. Now, I do want to bring caution or just a couple of tips when you are using your softwares. Is the first one is to always include the names of the people that you're paying or the company. For example, Zoom is something that usually a lot of people use in their business. Make sure that you are including the name of the companies or businesses that you are paying, not only for example, 1099s. It's important to know how much you paid everybody, each contractor, but also when you are having those money meetings, you can look at how much you're actually spending by vendor. And that's really helpful to look at in the big picture and as well as individual transactions to see if there's maybe somewhere that you can cut some costs or changes or overpayments and things like that, that if you do not include the name of the vendor, you're not going to be able to get those numbers or reports. And the next thing is, I know that softwares really boast about their capabilities of learning how you use your money and kind of like doing it automatically for you. But I am not a fan of those auto add rules, for example, or things that just happen automatically without giving you a chance to double check, because I have seen so many times transactions that were added automatically that never had like a quality control check from the owner or from a bookkeeper or from somebody in the office that said, yes, this should be here. And at the end of the year, there's a whole bunch of transactions that were coded incorrectly or that the information was not complete. For example, missing a vendor. And one transaction or 10 or 20 or 200 or 5,000 transactions that were added incorrectly just means that your numbers are completely incorrect. Whether it's 1 or 1,000, it just throws off everything. So never ever rely blindly on those suggestions. Always make sure that you are double checking them. So I just want to thank you so much for watching this. And just remember that tracking your finances intentionally and adjusting your workflows as you grow is just really part of being a healthy business. I know that bookkeeping is not something that just comes naturally to business owners, and that's okay. You don't have to know everything, at least when you're starting out, but you also don't have to stay that way. This is a very important part of running a business, of a healthy business for you, for your profit, for your team, and for your future, for your goals. So thank you so much. And if you have any questions about this, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. I'll be happy to help you. Thank you.